they twitch. So they'll shake their head like really fast and their face changes, or they'll just kind of like sit there and it's weird. It is hard to explain. But their face changes and then it changes back. And you kind of go, did I just see that? There are signs when you're with a narcissist that you're being demonically oppressed. And I believe that the demonic creature inside the narcissist, because I believe they are possessed, or if they're not, they're going through an oppression and they're falling into it. The narcissist does everything evil in the evil realm in the dark triad. So it makes sense that it's coming from a demon. The scientific community can't explain one thing: being a personality disorder, not a disease. It comes from being spoiled or trauma when they were a childhood. Now, what arranges that? But then they have all these patterns. Well, it's across the world. Across the world, every narcissist does the same thing. They have the patterns of love bomb, devalue, discard, and hoover. Every one of them. They even have the same patterns of manipulation, gaslight. They have triangulation, stonewall, they dog whistle, they bait, silent treatments, rage. It's all the same. They all do it. They can't explain it. These people don't know each other. How does this happen? I think they're demonically possessed. And so you'll see these signs when you're with the narcissist. And so when you first meet the narcissist, and I thought I was the only one that witnessed this, but it's a strange thing. So when you're in the love bomb stage with the narcissist, you're not hooked like the first date. And nobody can tell me that. Usually you feel like there's something off and you're not sure, but they seem nice. You kind of just ignore it. You ignore red flags. And maybe, early on you've said something like, I don't think this is going to work out, or you've told them I can't go out or something. And the other thing is sometimes they think you're your girlfriend or boyfriend like in a week and you haven't even had that discussion. So you're dating other people and they find out about it or whatever. Well, this is what happens. Sometimes they twitch. They twitch. It's the weirdest thing to watch. So and I've watched videos and people telling me they saw it, and I was like, oh, I'm not the only one. So, but they twitch, so they'll shake their head like really fast, and their face changes, or they'll just kind of like sit there and it's weird. It is hard to explain. But their face changes and then it changes back. And you kind of go, did I just see that? And you're thinking, are they having an epileptic attack? What is going on? Are you okay? And sometimes they'll actually get up and leave because they can't hold it back. And other times they get like their scruples back together and then it's like nothing happened. It's weird. And I believe that that's a demonic in there, that's a demon that you are seeing right from the get-go, and they're holding back a rage because you said no, or they feel like you have disrespected them in some way, or they're losing you, but they know it's too soon and they can't, because if they do, they've lost their supply. No hope. So that's one thing that happens, and it happens more than I thought. Like I said, I thought I was the only one, but I'm not. So the other thing that you'll see and is shadow people. If you as you go on, and it could be in your own home, and what that is, and I think in other cultures they actually call it jinns, but I think it's just a demon. And so there you'll see it maybe in a dark corner, but you see like something move across the wall, and it's a shadow and it just walks across the wall and that kind of thing. And it's like they're lurking. So these demons are just lurking around. So you see that every once in a while. And at first when I saw it, I thought it's it's got to be because I'm watching TV in the dark. You know how you look up from a bright light and then look over and you kind of see the light a little bit, but I thought that's what it was. But then I realized when the TV's not on, I was seeing it as well. So it's very strange. You'll notice things like things falling off the wall. So I witnessed, and I think I said this in another video, but I witnessed a candle. It was a candle holder, and it was on the wall, and it actually flew off the wall like 5 feet, and then it fell and broke, but the nail was still on the wall. It was the strangest thing. You'll see pictures fall. You'll see things knock over a counter all of a sudden. Just and noises, the noises you'll actually hear, cupboard slam, that kind of thing. And then you go into the room and there's nothing there, and you're thinking, well, maybe I heard it and it was coming outside or something. You always, make an excuse because it's so strange. But that's the demonic oppression that you're going through being around somebody that is possessed with a demon. And so then the other thing is you might suffer sleep paralysis. And sleep paralysis is very strange. And I did this too. I had that. And I know there's many people that do, is it's where you're asleep, but you can't move and you can't breathe, but you're awake enough to know that you can't breathe, but you can't quite wake up to take that breath. And so it's suffering. You feel like you're going to suffocate to death. And you're just telling yourself, wake up, move, breathe. And you can't. And then all of a sudden you'll gasp this big air. And then you're okay. But man, it's just startling and it scares you. Other people have had where they feel like something's on their chest, sitting on their chest, and they can't move, and they're like they feel like they're wide awake because they can see the demon on top of them, but they're really not. And then all of a sudden they'll open their eyes and it's gone. It's like it releases them, and that's what it is. It's the demon that is oppressing you. And so some people will actually go through anxiety and depression, and a lot of that is psychology, psychological. And that's because of the manipulations that the narcissist is doing with you and putting you down and all that stuff. But some of it is the oppression, and that's where the demon is whispering in your ear. It's where the demon is saying, you're no good, and you might as well unalive yourself, and you might as well just go on and be nothing. And why are you with this person? They're so much better than you, and you can never make them happy, and blah, 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 blah. And it gives you anxiety and depression, and you feel worthless and disgusting, okay, which is really bad. You will maybe, and some people feel this, some people don't. I never did, but you might be sitting in a chair or something and you feel it shaking, and you almost think, was there a little earthquake? And then it'll do it again. And what it is the demonic forces are shaking you. They're trying to scare you, is what they're trying to do, because they get off on the negative energy, and they want to bring you down basically. So you might smell odors is the other thing. And I did a couple times, but I didn't know what it was. So it could smell like poop. It could smell like wet dog, fried eggs, rotten eggs, that kind of thing. It's very nasty, and it smells almost toxic, and it'll linger in the room, and then all of a sudden it'll go away. It's just very strange. Sometimes the narcissist won't even be there, and you'll be in this room, and it'll be just like a, a whiff of it, like it's going by and then it leaves, and it's nasty. And you go hunting around like, where is that odor coming from? But it's very brief sometimes, and then other times it just lingers and you don't know where it's at, and you can't put your finger on it, but it's a demonic smell is what that is. And so those are all the things that well, most of the things, there's others, but that you can find when you're with a narcissistic relationship. And the only other thing that I want to say is, if you have the Holy Spirit in you, you don't have to worry about being possessed. They cannot dwell with the Holy Spirit inside you. So if you're a Christian, you're safe. You can say prayers to get rid of this oppression. There's many things you can pray with your church. You can be delivered. You can do all kinds of things. But most of all, if you get rid of that narcissist, it'll go away. So the narcissist is the one that is doing this because of their evil ways and their possession and all that. That's how I believe anyway. So I don't know if many of you have experienced all these things or some of these things. If you have, please comment. I'd love to know. But these are some of the common things that happen in a narcissistic relationship on the spiritual side, and they are trying to subdue your spirit. Well, thanks for watching.